Scandal has erupted in Australia's Olympic weightlifting campaign with claims an athlete demanded cash to compete. Reporter Max Futcher has been following this story. And Max, what was at stake here?
Georgia could have robbed Australia its place in weightlifting at the London Olympics. Our entire team was in Samoa last week competing for that singular place against the rest of the countries in the Oceania region. But one of our weightlifters, Daniel Coombe, allegedly refused to lift unless he was paid $5,000. Now, if he'd have failed to lift, that could have robbed our entire weightlifting team of their Olympic dream. What price would you put on team spirit? If you believe the head of Australian weightlifting, for $5,000, Daniel Coombe would torpedo the Australian team's Olympic hopes.
Daniel Coombe had said that if he didn't get what he wanted out of the Australian Weightlifting Federation, he would sabotage their Olympic campaign.
What he wanted was initially $1,000, then $5,000, or he'd refuse to lift the required 250 kilos, thus losing our only berth at the London Games.
He then said that, I want more, I want $5,000, or you can kiss the Olympics goodbye.
Australia's top performer last week in Samoa was Delhi gold medalist Damon Kelly. The strongest man in the Commonwealth is disgusted.
Every weightlifter in Australia wants to see someone from Australia being representing the country over at London in weightlifting, and so to put himself ahead of all of that, yeah, it just made me sick.
Daniel Coombe came to Australia to represent Cameroon in the 2006 Melbourne Commonwealth Games. He stayed on as a refugee and eventually came to represent his adopted country. The weightlifting boss says by handing over the cash to lift, he acted on a personal, not official level.
And obviously we're not happy with it because we felt blackmailed, to be honest with you.
Daniel Coombe wouldn't return calls today. Technically, he can still compete at this weekend's Olympic selection in Brisbane.
I think everyone else will do their best to try and beat him this weekend.
The AOC is investigating. Now, Daniel Coombe reportedly rejects these claims, but the head of Australia's Weightlifting Federation says there were several witnesses present when this backroom deal went down.
Thank you, Max Futcher.